I'm so grateful to be able to join you. I'm so grateful for this technology that allows me to show up on the wall there, and I can see some of you, the backs of your heads, and just I'm so grateful that people have taken time out of the busy holiday season to come together today via virtual or in-person connection, and I just think that's pretty amazing. So thank you. And I'm reminded, was the day before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And my dear friend Todd helped get rid of the mouse in the trailer yesterday. So I'm so thankful, Todd. Thank you for all your support. Your friendship is truly a blessing. I've learned some things preparing for this talk today that I probably knew in the background, but this brought it to the forefront. And that is, even though most Christians celebrate Christmas Day as the birth of Jesus, it was first the pagans who celebrated December 25th as the solstice, and they were celebrating the return of the sun. The early Christians actually celebrated Jesus's birthday on January 6th, but later it appeared that the church decided to change it back to make it December 25th in the hopes that the heathens would transition from their devotion to the sun, S-U-N. And so the early church leaders chose to call it the Sun of Righteousness. So that's interesting because they called it the Sun, S-U-N, of Righteousness. And one of the things I didn't know is that the current modern Armenian church still celebrates Christmas on January 6th. And January 6th eventually became known as the Feast of the Epiphany, which celebrates the arrival of the Magi in Bethlehem. So the period between December 25th and January 6th became the holiday season we now know as the 12 days of Christmas. So how did Santa Claus get into the picture, you may be asking? Well, I loved your sharing, Rev Madeline, because you reminded me of Santa Claus when I started doing research about Saint Nicholas. So there was this boy who was born. His name was Nicholas, and he was said to have been born in the 3rd century AD in the village of Patara, which is now Turkey. It was Greece back then, but now it's Turkey. And it is said that his parents died when he was young, and that the religious boy Nicholas was raised by his rich uncle. And when his rich uncle died, he left him a fortune. And Nicholas was so religious that he became an ordained priest, and he used his wealth to help others and become a protector of children, performing miracles to help them. And that is where the celebration of Santa Claus came from. So you were reminding me of Santa Claus, Madeline. So Ernest Holmes in the 1962 Science of Mind magazine wrote, "To carry peace, love, and givingness to everyone is the meaning of Christmas. To feel that we are all a part of the divine offering is to enter into the spirit of the birth of Christ in the human mind and heart." So this month, our theme is living as wholeness. And today we get to delve into the topic of embodying Christ consciousness as a wholeness prototype. So first of all, we have to know what we mean by Christ consciousness, right? Well, I looked at it. Did any of you know that there's a thing called Yogapedia? I didn't know there was a Yogapedia, but now I do. And this is what Yogapedia says about Christ consciousness. In seeking Christ consciousness, the idea is to transcend physical existence and experience one's own divinity and godlike nature. It is a path of love, peace, harmony, and bliss, which leads to an understanding of the omnipresent higher power that connects all beings in the universe. Jesus is used as an example to those who follow this path because he embodies the notion that all beings are one with the divine. And I was reading our Science of Mind magazine yesterday, and there's a quote from Ernest Holmes in there that says, "We are so one with the whole that what is true of it is also true of us." And that reminds me of what I was sharing last week about we're not a drop in the ocean, but we're the whole ocean in a drop. There's a big difference, right? So Christ consciousness is the awareness of the presence of God at the heart of everything in creation, every atom, being, plant, rock, animal, sun, moon, everywhere. When we expand our identity from this body and personality to the omnipresent spirit, we realize our consciousness to be everywhere, all throughout the entire universe. There's only one of us, right? It's everywhere present, and we are one with it. You have attained Christ consciousness just as Jesus and the other masters have when we experience our consciousness as everywhere present. Paramahansa Yogananda explained that the Christ consciousness is the spiritual essence hidden at the core of each individual. In fact, at the core of every atom of creation. So how do we achieve Christ consciousness? Well, it is said that all that we need in order to experience Christ consciousness is the will and capacity to receive it, an open mind and dedication to a spiritual practice. Once our mind recognizes the divine is within us, Christ consciousness tends to awaken gradually. It can be viewed as having found truth or a rediscovery of one's connection with their innermost spiritual being. So some people have a spontaneous awakening, right? But for the majority of us, it's a gradual experience. And it starts with recognizing that we are one with the one. So it happens through our life experience, right? It happens through our dedication and desire to experience. But also we must embody it. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about embodying Christ consciousness, which indicates that the body is really an important part of this process. And as you know, there's a group of us that are studying the energy codes by Dr. Sue Morter. And we will be opening up the study group once we've gotten through the book. For those of you who may want to join us for the next, it's going to be ongoing. But here's what Reverend Michael Beckwith says about Sue Morter's The Energy Codes book. He says, her authentic insights, integration, and embodiment of sacred truth is evidence as you hear her teach and have the privilege of being her client. In this book, she masterfully integrates spirituality and science in a way that is life-changing and a way that will assist you in transformation like no other. This is Reverend Michael Beckwith saying this, right? You are holding in your hands right now a powerful key to real transformation. So use it, he says. So in order to embody Christ consciousness, we must make a conscious decision to use a spiritual practice or practices. We will soon be starting a course of love, which is a continuation of A Course in Miracles. However, you do not need to have taken A Course in Miracles first. Specifically says that in this Course of Love book study. And here's what day 18 in the Course of Love says. The title is The Way to Paradise. Many of you will follow the way of Jesus to completion, beginning a stage of interaction with the world and interaction with the miracles that will aid in the dismantling of the old and with preparing the way for the birth of the new. We're currently in the process of birthing something new and beautiful. Others of you will follow your hearts to a bypassing of the final stage of the old and to anchoring the new within the web of reality. Still others will participate in both, following their innate desire to facilitate the creation of change through a specific function, even while moving into the new as they do so. One way is active and the other is passive, yet the ways are not separate, any more than Jesus was separate from Mary or any mother separate from her child. The ways are actually rather complementary and symbiotic. Together, they return wholeness. Wholeness, that's what we're talking about, and will bring about the completion of the time of Christ. This symbiotic working together will be essential for the birth of the new, and in truth symbolizes it in form and in process. As within, so without, right? We hear this so often. These two ways also represent God and Christ consciousness, the extension of God. So he's saying Christ consciousness is the extension of God. God is everything in heaven and on earth and is in everything on heaven and on earth. We know that, right? God is everywhere present, in and as through all of us. Thus, God represents the world without, and Christ consciousness is God within you. So that's what Christ consciousness is. It's God within us. So how do we embody this feeling, this knowing, this being of a person, a human being that knows that God is within us? That's the question. So it's all about having a willingness and a dedication to spiritual practice, whatever that looks like for you. We offer opportunities at our center to support each one of us on our spiritual journey. And the journey isn't really about going anywhere, because we already are it. We already are God in expression. We just may have forgotten. And so our job gets to be reminding each other of the truth of who we are. Our job gets to be taking time in silence, going within, focusing on that inner eye that Madeline was talking about. It gets to be letting go of any belief that we are not that. And that can come with a whole bunch of additional practices for us to let go of those false ideas and those beliefs of who we aren't. One of the big things it may require is forgiveness. And I learned this a long time ago, that for me, it's never been, it appears that something happened to me and that I need to forgive the person for that. But as my consciousness grew, I realized that nothing happens to me that I didn't attract into my life, right? I am a powerful creator, and so are you. We attract every opportunity and circumstance needed for our highest spiritual evolution. That is the truth. And so we can have pronoia instead of paranoia, because we know all things are working together for our good, always. But not just our good, everyone's good. So how do we look past all the chaos and destruction and horrendous things that are happening in the world? We're not here to say they're not happening and they're horrible. No, but it's a call to go within. What can I do? Who do I need to become to help bring that vision of a world that works for all into fruition, into manifestation? That's our part. That's the thing we get to do. I cannot think of a better thing to be doing on the planet at this time. I'm like, there's so many things to do, right? And we get to choose our part. What part do we want to play? I love that Rev Madeline participates in supporting the kids. And I know all of you play a important part, whatever it is. And your soul might be calling something for something more. Your higher self might have something even greater for you to contribute in ways you may not even have thought of yet. So on the second Sunday, we'll be doing a personal visioning to help get clarity around our personal calling. I'm just excited. I mean, I'm excited that I live on the planet at this time because I remind myself that God is all there is, right? And so I often bring myself out of the minute details of the things that are going on and remind myself to have the big picture view like we did last week when we did that guided visualization and we kept going up, 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 way up into the atmosphere. And we could see our beautiful planet with no borders and just the beauty of it all. Our planet is a spiritual being. It is a part of the one. It's a divine idea in the mind of God, just as each and every one of us are. So our call to action is to devote ourselves to spiritual practice to embody Christ consciousness. Let's make a point of seeing the Christ in everyone you meet. Let's commit to embodying Christ consciousness as we continue waking up to our spiritual magnificence. And in so doing, we can continue to create a world that works for all. And so I would like to anchor this in prayer today. So I invite us to go within as I share a prayer. And so as I relax into this moment, I remember the truth that there is only one thing happening. It is the perfect, beautiful, magnificent, wondrous expression of God unfolding in, through, and as all of life. In, through, and as each one of us. It is everywhere present. It is love, it is peace, it is joy, it is harmony, it is beauty, it is goodness. It is so good that we can't even imagine how good it is. But our finite mind, little mind, is one with the infinite mind. And so the greater we can stretch our imagination, the greater we can participate in creating a more beautiful, wondrous world for all. I am so grateful for the science of mind and spirit teaching. I'm so grateful for Centers for Spiritual Living that allows for this teaching to continue to be prolific. It is everywhere. Everywhere you look, you can see the science of mind and spirit teaching. People are speaking about it everywhere. So we've done a good job. And we continue to play our part by up-leveling our dedication to spiritual practice, to actually embody Christ consciousness in and through every system and cell of our being. We are Christ consciousness. We came from it. It is what breathes us, moves us. It is that infinite presence of love, divine love. So I give thanks for knowing that we are each doing our part in whatever way we are feeling called, that we are here on purpose, and that we showed up today as evidence of our desire to create a world that works for all, to bring more love, harmony, peace, beauty, joy. to not only ourselves, but our communities and the world. And have no doubt that every single little thing that you do to expand your consciousness is affecting the whole. For you, we are the one. And so it is with great thanksgiving that I release this word as our truth, knowing that this is what is happening. We are awakening to our spiritual magnificence. We are embodying the Christ consciousness. We are lighting up the world with the truth of who and whose we are. And so I give thanks for all of us for saying yes to this mission, for saying yes to moving forward in what our soul is calling us to do. I give thanks for knowing that all things are unfolding in divine right order for the highest and best for all of life, because it is God. And so with thanksgiving, I simply release this word. I let it go. I let it be so, knowing that it is so. Together we say, and so it is.